Man, what a strange journey these past 6 months have been. It's been like being on a literal roller coaster, and we're not even at the end of the ride yet. We're still trying to get to the end of the ride. So Monday morning, we posted an update that was quite optimistic. Lots of signs pointing in the direction of Disneyland and other theme parks reopening. We even believed we would have a date, if not Monday, then probably Tuesday. There was a news conference scheduled by Disney for that Tuesday morning. Some Disney news sites were even reporting that there was already an agreement in place between Disneyland and the state of California. Now, Disney heard all this talk on the news sites and on social media, and then they spoke. And then they killed all of that optimism. Disney said in advance of their press conference, no, there will be no date given. No date. Now, when I say they killed it, I don't mean that they're doing that to us. It's not something that it's not their decision. But their statement did kill that optimism. Just not their fault. That conference held on Tuesday was not to announce anything, but to just give Disney sort of a chance to update the public on their current state of things. And then, of course, to ask again for the state to issue guidelines and open the park. Now, this press conference has still not been posted publicly, but a few in the media were invited to attend when it happened. And so we have some cliff notes, thanks to laughingplace.com, that we can sort of analyze and break down for you. Now, during Monday's live stream, ones we do every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on Fresh Bake Presents, after hearing the news that there was going to be no date, I asked the question, if that's not what this press conference is for, then what then? What possible piece of information could they be giving us that we didn't know already? And my question was somewhat on point, because that's pretty much how that press conference started. They began by talking about the phased reopening of Shanghai Disneyland, and how well it's going, and things are ramping up in terms of capacity. They're even adding parades and nighttime events. This was followed by an update on Walt Disney World Florida. Per Disney, cases in Florida have gone down since the parks opened. That's a pretty good thing. This is where Dwan Rivers, the VP of Animal Kingdom, came on to describe their health and safety measures that are being taken there, which again is pretty vanilla by now. We're all very well aware of what those measures are. Then it was Melissa Valaket, VP of Epcot, and she spoke about the levels of guest satisfaction with the health and safety measures that are being employed. She said that 8 out of 10 guests surveyed were satisfied or felt like those measures were just right. She also mentioned that guests were applauding Disney's efforts to enforce the mask policy, one of the more controversial ones. And I have to say that what I've observed here in California at Downtown Disney, I would agree with that. Here at Downtown Disney, I still see guests that are, wearing their masks below their nose or on their chin. We're still seeing that. But if it's within eyesight of a cast member, they are being asked to put the mask back on with regular consistency. And that's good news. And I think that this policy specifically is how you keep things, contained, I guess, in such a large venue as a theme park or Downtown Disney. Speaking of Downtown Disney, they are next, and it is mentioned that Orange County is currently in the red tier, and for those who are playing along or not, red tier is bad. It's not good. But they also mentioned that the tier system doesn't include theme parks. And this kind of brings up a salty point for me, because I still cannot figure out why that is the case. Nearly every sector of business is accounted for in that tier system except for theme parks. And this is no oversight. This is done purposely. At first I thought this was a positive thing for theme parks, but given the recent developments, I'm now more certain than ever that this is actually a bad thing for theme parks. Not a positive, a negative, if you will. But at the risk of beating a dead horse, let's move on to a little bit more of the information provided during the press conference. For starters, it was confirmed that Disneyland will be utilizing the same reservation system as being used at Walt Disney World, or if not the same, very similar. Now, this isn't really much of a surprise. I don't think anybody thought that they wouldn't use a reservation system. You cannot control attendance capacity without it. But this is the first time they've spoken publicly and confirmed that they would be doing so. And on that point, be sure to stay tuned to Fresh Bake, because we'll be sure to have a comprehensive discussion on how that reservation system will work and how it'll affect or apply to ticket holders and annual pass holders and hotel guests, etc. Secondly, Disney also said that they're going to be announcing soon a plan to provide COVID testing within the theme park communities. No details have been provided yet. This was just sort of a teaser, but I suspect it's going to make it possible for cast members to be tested easily and often, and hopefully for free. And then finally, Josh D'Amaro appeared to close the press conference with the aforementioned plea for the state of California to issue guidelines and to allow Disneyland to open. Speaking to the point that we talked about previously, he asked that the state of California treat Disneyland in the same way that they treat any other business sector in the tiered program. And this, again, is a point that I've been repeating for weeks now, that I feel like Disney should be treated like everybody else, whether or not that's good for them. It could be bad for them if they're treated like everybody else, but they should be treated equally. I don't believe that theme parks or Disney or any other theme park should be treated differently than, let's say, a grocery store or a movie theater or a shopping mall. And then he closed with the final statement that Disneyland is ready and that it is time to open the parks. And with that, the press conference is over, and it's not what any of us were hoping for. I don't think a lot of fluff and a lot of the same sort of the same statements being made again, with a few interesting tidbits that we can talk about. But for the most part, it's just an opportunity for Disney to express their request or to put more pressure on the state of California. Now, since then, Orange County has moved from the red tier to the orange tier, which should allow for some kind of opening if theme parks were included in the tiered system. I've seen some discuss what this move from red to orange means for Disneyland, i.e., do they need to, how long do we need to stay in orange before we can open? Is it 1 week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks? But those questions are really moot because theme parks aren't included in the tiered system, so none of those rules seem to apply. Now, having said that, Disney is at least talking to the state separately, it's not like we're being left in the dark, but I'm just not trying to get married to the whole idea of what the tiered system means for Disneyland. And as far as this update goes, I will close with this. I have heard through the grapevine that it's not likely that we're going to see Halloween in the parks this year. This based on some observations that all of the Halloween decorations have been moved off-site. They have taken all that stuff off-site. Of course, it's possible that they could still open the parks sometime in October, just without any Halloween decorations. But personally, that doesn't really sit well with me, and I have a feeling Disney would agree with that. It also reconciles with the word that they've been installing lights, holiday lights, at Small World. And that's it for today, guys. Be sure to let us know your thoughts in the comments below and to subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell so that you can be made aware of updates as they come, because we are surely going to be covering that as it happens. Until then, if you're looking to watch something that isn't related to Disneyland reopening, check out our feature that we did recently on Holiday Hill and what was there before the Matterhorn. Otherwise, you can follow us on Instagram at _freshbaked and on Twitter at FreshBakedDizzy. That's fresh with no E. Thanks again for watching, everybody. We love you very much. We'll see you next time. Fresh Baked! We've got lots more videos for you to see, so grab a churro and check out some of our other videos and have your mind blown by how much fun we're having. We truly are the best of Disney Bake Fresh Daily. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you next time. Fresh Baked!